Welcome to the January Challenge 2020. My name's Mary and I'm going to lead you through this month looking at various bits of new music for you. We've got some fabulous pieces. We've got a couple of options of routes to take through as well. So if you feel like you're more of a beginner, there's a path for you, which is going to take a piece over a longer period of time so that you can do shorter chunks and really take your time to get to grips with it. If you feel like you're a more confident player, maybe you've been with us for all 5 of our challenge months, then there's another route for you where we'll tackle longer sections and get through that piece a bit quicker. And then there's another piece which is a higher difficulty level to start with, which will then be a really nice challenge for you as well. So all the pieces are open to everyone, of course, but just to make it the most flexible for you this year, that's the way that we're going to go. And then at the end of the month, we are going to have a bit of fun looking at Pachelbel's canon. And what I'd like for you to do in the next few days, if you haven't already, is to get yourself a copy of the Sylvia Woods book. Okay, we're not going to be dishing out sheet music for this one, but we are going to be using the Sylvia Woods version, and we've got some rather exciting plans for this piece through this year. So it's a really fabulous book to own. A lot of you will probably already own this book anyway, but it's a great book to own. The nice thing about Sylvia Woods' arrangements is that she always does slightly more straightforward versions and slightly more complex versions. She quite often offers it in different keys. She even looks at duetting options. She's a fabulous arranger. So if you haven't already got a copy of it, so that you're ready for the end of the month, sort of the 21st, 22nd onwards, get yourself a copy of the Sylvia Woods book of Pachelbel's canon. And then we shall get started. We're going to start today, just put this down. We're going to start today with a warm-up, okay? And then tomorrow we will start our first proper piece. And warm-ups are really valuable things to do because they not only get your fingers more flexible and able to move and get you thinking about how you're positioning yourself on the instrument, they can also be really good for the mind and for warming up those muscles and the pathways that your mind uses to play a piece. So for getting those sort of nicely oiled as well. So the warm-up we're going to do, if I get into position, my harp is in the key of C, and it's a relatively straightforward scale kind of warm-up. So what we're going to do, I'll show you with one hand initially. We're going to start on middle C with the right hand. We will actually do this probably hands together, ideally hands together, but just so that you can see what I'm doing here. And we play 4, 3, 2, we cross over, or under, sorry, with our 4, pop everything back on to carry on up, and then before we play the top C, we're going to go straight back on with all 4 fingers to head back down. Cross over with your thumb, put everything on, and then we're going to head back up for the last time, so everything back on before we play that 4, crossing under before we play the thumb, getting everything on before we play the 4. Now, before I play this final C, I'm going to prepare the next part, which is I'm going to reach down almost an octave to 1 note higher than what my original starting note was. So I had started on the red C. I'm now putting my 4th on that D. I'll play my thumb now to finish that part off. Bring all my fingers down to meet that 4th finger. So I'm now on D, E, F, G. I'm going to cross under with my 4th so that I'm now heading up to the D here. Heading back on to head down, same thing, and then heading back up. So always something in contact. Reaching down now for the E with my 4 before I play this 1. And back up. Now reaching for my F. Now reaching for my G, and I'm just going to add my left hand in now as well. Now the A. play that top C, I'm now going to reach and I'm going to extend over the octave to get to the B. So I'm now going to head myself back down. So I'm heading down one note lower. Notice how that therefore extends over my left thumb. I'm going to play that C, this is quite a reach, play that C, bring my hand down. So we're just going to do the whole pattern back down, reaching down to the A, down to the G, arpeggio shape and add these on and just do a nice roll to finish. So that is the first part of this warm-up challenge. So actually starting straight away, ideally with both hands, and you can do that with the harp because it's exactly the same fingering in both hands. So you start with both hands on that C, D, E, F, and I want you to take it at whatever speed is comfortable for you. So really nice and steady is absolutely fine. And you're going to work on, are my notes happening exactly together? Not one before the other. Am I getting all my fingers on? So I've always got something in contact and then reaching here and so on. Okay, so you take that at the speed that is comfortable enough for you to be able to go up, down, up, start the next one, up, down, up, start the next one, without coming off and being really feeling secure. It's brilliant for being able to think about nice elbows out, nice thumbs up. Am I bending my fingers in really well as I do it? So really allow it to focus your attention in a very sort of calm way onto what your fingers are doing. And then you can take that as fast as you feel comfortable to do. But if you start tripping or falling off, slow it down a bit. Another nice thing to do with it is to, once you're getting comfortable with it, is get yourself set up and then look away so that you don't actually look at your hands as you play. You could just close your eyes if you don't want to look away. Okay, and can you do that and reach to the next part and keep it going? And ideally you ought to be able to, and that might feel like, oh my goodness, I could never do that without looking at my strings. But believe it or not, your hands do know an awful lot about where they're going. And if you trust them, they will take you there. So that is the first part of that warm-up challenge. And if that feels perplexing enough, then leave it at that. But if you're getting to grips with that, I want to push you a little bit further. And this is really fun, and this will be very useful, especially if you're going to play the more complex piece that's coming in the middle of the month. Okay, so this is a very good warm-up, and that's why I'm teaching it you now, so that maybe you can try this every day through the month. So I'm going to start with both hands ready in position on that C, D, E, F. However, my left hand is going to start first. So I'm going to play the 4 and the 3 just in my left hand. And then as I'm about to play finger 2 on that E, my right hand is going to start on its finger 4. And then I'm going to cross under with my left, I'm going to cross under with my right. My left is going back down, my right is going back down. I'm doing the crosses over. And I'm heading back up with that left, and now I'm heading back up with that right. And now my left is going to do the next one from the D. Now my right is meeting it. It sounds very nice. You thinking about, well, it really allows your hands to do independent playing. It's almost one of those things you don't want to think too hard about, because if you focus too much on your thinking, it becomes really tricky to do. My top hand's Okay, so the first thing to do is to do the hands together so that your hands just get very, very comfortable with the pattern of heading up and down and up and then starting the next note up and so on. And then when you come to trying it, where you start one hand and the other joins in later, that you try not to think too hard and you just allow each hand to follow the pattern that it's very comfortably just done hands together, even though they happen to be happening at different times in terms of when the crossovers and cross-unders happen. And it's absolutely brilliant skill, or a brilliant skill, for really just allowing them to be independent and yet in their own flow. And flow's a really good and valuable word for that. So have a little bit of fun trying that. Take it as steady as you need to, and don't get too caught up here. Just allow the flow to happen with your hands. And then tomorrow we will start on our first piece. So as I mentioned before, there's going to be 2 different paths to take. One for people that consider themselves more beginners, where you'll learn about 4 bars a time and you can really take it steady and just get to grips with it, and I'll give more depth in the teaching of that one. And then one that will do roughly 8 bars at a time, and works on the basis that you have a bit more confidence in either your reading or the picking up by ear, and that you can then just focus on the technical quality and the sound quality of your playing. So we will start tomorrow, and tomorrow's piece is called The Seal Lullaby. It's originally by Eric Whittaker, and I will share a link for you of the choir singing it, because it's originally a choral work, and it's really nice to get a feeling of the whole piece when you hear a choir singing it, and that will give you the feeling for when you're going to learn and play it for yourself. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Well done.